Okay, we're going to look at opportunities identified in the market. Please know that we were only in the market for like 3 days in Martinique, 2 days in Guadeloupe, and 3 days in French Guiana. So this is what we discovered. You would also notice that we speak specifically to the companies because we represent about 20 companies on the project. Okay, so we're going to start now. Don't forget that. Righty. Okay, so we're going to list the opportunities or the products in alphabetical order. And we will start first generally with raw materials and packaging materials. It should be noted that within this market, almost all of the raw materials are imported, so that there is an opportunity for inputs into manufacturing, and someone mentioned earlier, intermediary goods. Again, packaging material, necessary to be imported, and inputs such as packaging material is currently sourced from France and the wider European market. However, companies seeking to penetrate the market need to ensure that they meet the regulatory standards. With respect to boats, there are 2 local producers in the market. Notwithstanding, we've been successful in penetrating that market. One of our suppliers is already supplying that market. So we move to chemicals. Okay. Large domestic production of chemicals in this market. It is advised that a local consultant is required to assist you in your registration procedures, and this would speak to Sharon and Shireen, and Sasha is no longer here. Okay, so that it takes some time, approximately 3 to 6 months, to have the products registered. And this holds true across several countries. The packaging and brand is also important for this product. Beverages. We are told the taste profile is similar to CARICOM, so we can export beverages to the market. And it was mentioned earlier by my colleague Chrisan about the highly competitive market for water, so that they use spring and mineral water, whereas we produce, what was the name of what we produce? Refined bottled water. But they use spring and mineral water in that market. There are 2 natural sources, and the range of imported brands come not just from France, but some of the other European territories. Okay, we're looking at bleach. Kristen would have mentioned earlier about the bleach content. It's around 2.6, whereas our supplier provides about a 5.25 content. There's a very strong local producer in the market, so we need to look out for this brand. People are looking for cheaper varieties, and as Kristen would have mentioned, maintaining quality. And, well, Kristen also spoke to this, where there was this small package with a concentrated bleach. Chlorine. When we visited French Guiana, what they mentioned to us, well, French Guiana is a relatively small market, just over 200,000 people. And they import the chlorine, and it's very expensive to import it from Europe, given the quantities they import, along with the packaging required. It must be in reefers. So this may be an opportunity for us to look at. Cosmetics, very small production. I'm sorry, Sasha had to leave. Very small production, and support is available for Sasha in the market. Confectionery, high demand item, a lot of potential for this product. One importer from Guadeloupe in particular was asking about the lollipop with the gum inside. And they're also interested in smaller mints. Our mints come in a specific size. They have a smaller mint. It comes in a range of variants. and flavors, and they also asked about a large blue mint. Similarly, there is an opportunity for a joint venture within the French Guiana market. Construction materials. We met with the president of the Exporters Association, and he boasted that Martinique has a range of construction products that they can actually produce 100% a house within the market. Notwithstanding, they will not be able to compete with us on price. But they produce practically everything for the house, from doors, windows, plumbing, electrical, bathroom supplies, tiles, bricks, cupboards. Clay bricks, there are two local producers, and was mentioned earlier, we are already exporting tiles to that market. Electrical products for homes and buildings are also produced in Martinique. They mentioned, however, EIL, there is an opportunity for cables and breaker panels. Must meet EU regulations, of course. Again, we spoke earlier about the PVC, demand especially in French Guiana. Flour, like Trinidad and Tobago, there are two producers in the market, and it's a small market, so that speaks to whether we could supply. We may be able to supply on price, right? And of course, we need to be able to develop our brand in the market to be able to access market share. Food flavors, we already export this product to the market, stewed broths. However, there are still opportunities. There is a possibility to service the rum industry, which provides a variety of flavors of rums and other cocktail beverages. It can also service the ice cream and yogurt segments, as well as the juice segments. And one of the importers within the market recommended that Stuart have the opportunity to meet with this organization. We also met with the Yoplait brand franchise holder in French Guiana, and he was also interested in getting information on our food flavors. Fruit puree and fruit juices, although we do a minimal amount of fruit puree in Trinidad, there are possibilities for supplying this product for juices, for yogurts, ice cream, and the like. There is domestic production of juices within the market, most of the ingredients naturally coming from Europe and Asia, including Philippines, Sri Lanka, and within the region from the DR. The agricultural sector within the country produces a range of agro products, including bananas, guavas, oranges, to service the juice sector. And the French Guiana, they source their inputs to produce fruit juices from the Netherlands. With respect to the furniture industry, the designs are mainly French. Imports come primarily, of course, from China, along with other markets within Europe. Furniture is not, there's no regulation on furniture, so that registration is not required from DICTE. DICTE, it's similar to Bureau of Standards. It's a harmonization of the Bureau of Standards and the Food and Drug Organization, a mega entity, government entity. However, for furniture, the company must meet the quality standards. Certain chemicals should not be included in the product, and proper labeling is a requirement. Printing and packaging. So there is a need for, so we have corrugated, non-corrugated boxes. Corrugated boxes would be the large ones where we store stuff in. Non-corrugated, Mr. Printer Pack, would be stuff you do, which would be like your packaging for your KFC boxes, your cases for your rum, as Kristen would have discussed earlier. There is a huge market for your product. And you saw from the photos where the opportunities are. So that they need corrugated boxes to packing, the jam, sauces, and so on, but they also need for the rums and other alcoholic beverages. Glass bottles is also in demand, and labels, label house, and labels for your plate. Currently, they're sourcing from Barbados, and I understand Barbados does some high-quality printing, right? So we need to look at that, but we can compete. Yeah, low energy cost, among others. Plastic bags, like Europe, plastic bags are not provided at the supermarket. There's only one supermarket who supplies these bags, Hyper-U. However, an importer from Martinique asked for these special bags, these designer bags that you put your cosmetics in. Plastic bags, however, in the market are also biodegradable, as was mentioned earlier. And in Martinique and in all of the markets, there's a strong movement towards the protection of the environment, so that, you know, as it's stated here in Martinique, the government supplied recyclable bins for all of the households. So you have your plastics, your tins, your glass, special packaging. And some households actually own their own combustors. Rum, there are about 11 refineries in Martinique which produce innovative and high-end quality rum, as was mentioned earlier, so that they're looking at flavors again, coconut flavor, orange, passion fruit, pineapple, or even pineapple, passion fruit, among others, for their cocktail range. And these products, as Demi would have mentioned, they're exported not only to France, but wider Europe, so that they import very, very small quantities of rum and other alcoholic beverages into the market. The companies are looking for novel packaging for their rum. All right, so if you can assist them in developing special designs for their packaging, printer pack, that would be useful. Sauces and condiments, a bit of a challenge here. It's not, the FCR is not a market for specialty sauces and condiments. Kristen would have alluded to this earlier. They use ketchup, but they have a significant local production of ketchup. And of course, like Europe, you won't get it with your chips, your fish and chips, but you'll get it in the traditional McDonald's and the KFCs. The mustards, Kristen dealt with that in detail. It's French, it's acid, it's different, right? So those in that field need to look at that if we need to look at improving our products for that market. However, there is a possibility to supply convenient packs of condiments to the fast foods outlet. Safety products, there are possibilities for this product within the market. Of course, standards, meeting the standards is critical. Tissue paper, Kristen would have spoken to this in terms of the quality of the paper. And it's not just the quality, but they come in a variety of colors as well. And a range of brands also come from the European markets. T-shirts, like Trinidad and Tobago and many other countries, they come primarily from China and other Asian countries. But this company indicated, nevertheless, that they were interested in T-shirts so that they could provide their own branding. Plastic water tanks. I think it was Demi who went into a lot of detail about the designs, and you would have seen from some of the photos, some of the water tanks, designs of the water tanks that are available. And it is becoming more and more popular to use, especially for catching rainwater. However, consumers are not allowed to drink rainwater, so that it would be used for watering of the plants and so on. So that, you know, Demi would have mentioned it earlier, we saw a lot of water tanks. I mean, each hardware had a large section outside of their operations to secure water tanks. And we believe it's also septic tanks as well. Rotoplastics is here. I think she left. She was here. Okay. They also provide a food-grade lining within their tank, and this is something, it's different, right? It's novel, and this is something that needs to be promoted when they're seeking to penetrate that market. So here we sensitized the elements by market, some of the issues with respect, the key issues with respect to each market. The French regulations are a bit more strict than the EU regulations, and that should be noted. And there is a need for continuous follow-up if we are to succeed in the market. I think Demi would have mentioned it earlier. There were previous missions to the market, and we met with a chamber, and the chamber said there was just no follow-up. A lot of groundwork was done, and nothing came out of it, and there was a lot of potential for some of the companies. 90%, over 90% of the products in Martinique, as well as the other territories, originate from France. Martinique takes a conservative approach to the trade in goods and services. So the Guadeloupans told us it's easier for them to export to St. Lucia, a CARICOM market, than to Martinique, their own sister country. So it says that it may be a bit more difficult to penetrate the Martinican market as opposed to Guadeloupe or even French Guiana. Freight to Martinique from Europe is highly subsidized, and of course they're supported by France. The market is demanding cheaper products without any compromise on quality, and the market is certainly open to new and innovative products. I remember meeting a supermarket owner, and she was just interested. She said, anything new? I'm looking for new designs, new packaging, anything new they would be interested in looking at. I can't tell you offhand. Anybody remember? The supermarket we visited. But we will have the information because we'd have the list of contacts. Still looking at Martinique and the widening of the Panama Canal, and not just the Panama Canal, but I think Demi would have mentioned earlier about the highway link into Brazil, which when we were there, it was not yet commissioned. Maybe it is at this time. But it would create opportunities for competition. Notwithstanding, French Guiana mentioned that they hardly trade with both their neighbors, Suriname and Brazil, because they do not meet the import requirements. Suriname is CARICOM, and Brazil, of course, Latin America. So the import regulations for Europe is so strict that they just don't meet it. So this is an opportune time for Trinidad and Tobago. We've always been leaders, and let us lead the process in entering the market. Shipping, Demi would have treated with that earlier. And Martinique in particular is not just looking to import from Trinidad, but they're looking to establish trade links. They're looking to export to our market as well. Now we turn to Guadeloupe. There are distinct possibilities for a number of the targeted items from TNT to be exported to the market, including cosmetics, electrical products, our household range, our safety products, confectionery, packaging, among others. Specific to Sasha, there is this company we met. They wholesale cosmetic items with a retail store annexed. And they are willing to provide assistance to companies whose products they open to sell, to assist them with the registration of their products. And they are quite interested in meeting with Sasha. And they're also interested in display cabinets and the bags. And this is something that Sasha is also doing, providing the display cabinets to support their range. Demi would have spoken to the issue of the database of freight forwarders and shipping agents and ETAs, estimated times of arrival, departure, and so on. He spoke to that earlier. And the chamber in Guadeloupe was particularly useful in assisting us within that market, and we look forward to them supporting us in the upcoming mission. Guadeloupe, however, they have a range of service industries, and they're willing to provide technical assistance to countries such as ours in renewable energy, IT. With respect to the EU standards, there's a database of consultants who can assist you in registering your products to enter the market, architectural services, and construction designs. And we now look at French Guiana. They were not particularly interested in trade, notwithstanding they have furniture and lumber, which can be exported to Trinidad and Tobago. However, our current relationship with that market is focused on energy products. As a matter of fact, when we were there, an energy mission was scheduled to visit the following week, and that is because of their recent find of oil, so that our companies are exploring the opportunities. Food, almost all of the food is imported from France, including tropical juices from the Netherlands. Some of their locally produced foods are mentioned here. Small production, shrimp, processed shrimp, smoked fish, juice, and jams. And again, service in this market, IT, telemedicines. And they are currently under discussion with Brazil to provide telemedicine services. There are plans to establish a direct air link with Trinidad and Tobago, and I think this is being driven by the energy side of our economy. So this would create an opportunity for us to enter into South America, just as we have the Panama link into the rest of Central and Latin America. This could be another link, another opportunity. TNT, it is said that in this market, we can compete on price, but of course, we need to ensure we meet the standards. What are some of the products this market has requested? Food flavors for your plate in particular, corrugated, non-corrugated packaging, labeling, confectionery products, PVC as an input into their manufacturing of windows, among other construction goods, and manufacturing inputs. Just to note, they're sourced primarily from France and the EU for French Guiana as well. And the Chamber is currently encouraging companies to look elsewhere for sources of supplies. A list of potential partners for you has been developed, and this is just a sample. So you may not be able to see the details, but potential importers within Martinique, Guadeloupe, French Guiana for processed foods, wholesalers and food distributors, wholesalers in cosmetics. And please know that it's more than one importer or distributor is listed here. Boats, garden stuff such as the rotoplastics stuff, furniture, construction material. And the list goes on and on. So this is just a sample so that you'd know that work is being done on your behalf by AZ Information Regime as well in the market, assisting in developing matchmaking opportunities on behalf of our companies. This is the end of my presentation. Are there any questions?